I've been out for most of the day at my mom's, and then we went shopping, then I was at the gym, like came home, took a bath, started researching costume stuff and not Legatha, which I will work on tomorrow. I'm already, it's normal. It's just normal. You can't focus on one costume. And I have to admit, I've been looking into Star Wars costumes for ages. I do have the book. You guys have seen that. I'm so happy that I found it. Otherwise, it would have been lost somewhat in Ohio. So I'm glad I brought it with me. But right now, I'm looking again into Jedi costumes. I already made two. A rush thing for the Star Trek lecture. Yeah, I know, Star Trek, Star Wars, it's not the same, but galaxies like join and cross and mingle when it comes to the Star Trek lecture. Don't ask me why, it's just like, it is like that. There's a guy who makes Stormtrooper armor and whatever, and there were other like costuming groups, and it just ended up that there was Star Wars and in Star Trek. Not like in the series or anything, but in the lecture. And in the end, I mean, we all like, I know there are fans who are more like Star Wars or Star Trek, but in general, if you like sci-fi or fantasy or whatever, it's like you kind of appreciate that stuff. The Jedi belts, they're like double, so you have the wider one and then there's a smaller belt on top, and it's held by a couple of, let's call them rivets for now. I don't know, it could be, it's not buttons. I think there's called something like Chicago something or Boston something. I have to look it up again. I recently found them back then. When was that? Like 2004 maybe, so that's like 11 years ago, and you know how the internet was there. Google image search was not as good as today, and I was having a hard time to actually find those because I could not find them here. In the end, I went to a horse supply store, I guess, and someone gave me a tip. Basically, oh god, what's the English word? On the boots, it's specific boots. It's for, I think, dressur, which is like, it's not the horse jumping thing, it's the other one where they do like the pretty stuff. Oh my god, I should look it up before I talk to you. It's a Spanish version, and there are boots which do you say riders? Reiter in German, oh my god. Yeah, on the side of those boots, they're like this rivets. And then I went there and they're like, yeah, we have a couple, but we actually need them. And I got them to sell me about 8. Which I needed for 2 costumes. Those costumes must have been really bad. Oh my god. I have been doing so much research and looking into lightsabers, and there are a couple of really cool companies that also do lightsabers that can be used for dueling, which is awesome. And then there are obviously lightsabers that can switch color and mix colors. So for example, you can have 12-volt ones that have 2 colors and mix to a third, whereas the 2 colors are stronger than the mixed color. Normally you mix like blue and red is purple, but with RGB, which is the light colors, you have the green, which is normally blue and yellow. So if you mix blue and green, I have no idea what color you get, and if you mix red and green, it's different. I wanted to talk about lightsaber colors, so I was watching a couple of videos, did some research, did a couple of quizzes and tests, and I was trying to figure out my profile as a Jedi, and I was like, maybe, I don't think it would be fully blue. Blue are basically the warriors in the front, directly fighting whatever Jedis. Then green, that's Yoda and 2 or 3 others that have green. They mainly use the Force, but they also can use lightsabers. But for example, the blue ones are way more skilled in fighting. So the green saber users are more like skilled in using the Force and won't use the lightsaber necessarily, but they can. And apparently the red lightsabers, they were there first. And then the light side actually got their weapons. So I figured out I would either be a gold one, or I probably had a mixture out of like blue and green. We should call this having fun with Sara without being drunk. there are two companies right now I'm looking into. One is Saberforge. They do have cool dueling lightsabers, also like multicolored lightsabers. It would be one which I can use for cosplay, which is probably a bit brighter, but apparently you can dim the color, which is awesome because I was a bit worried. I know a couple of people, a friend of mine was actually like, I want the brightest and whatever, and I'm like, I don't want the brightest because actually I wanted to show up on camera and on video and everything, and he's like, yeah, you can dim them. Okay, still, I don't want to be blinded. I don't want to wear like sunglasses or make my opponent blind with my lightsaber. Oh, and the second company I'm looking into is Wader's Vault. They seem to be even better, but I'm not sure, so it would be awesome to actually test them. I know one of them, the Saberforge, they're actually in Portland, and they do have a showroom. So if I ever make it to Seattle, fingers crossed, I will probably do a day trip to Portland to them and just look at their models and what they do, and maybe film something with them. Enough lightsaber talk. I wanted to mention something which I started talking about earlier, and then I got interrupted, and then I didn't finish it. I was watching a video about Germans pronouncing English, and she's actually German but speaks very well. So less accent. I still hear a slight accent, but she speaks way less, and she knows how to pronounce like vowels and whatnot. I know a lot of the things we have problems with, obviously TH, and because we can't say that. Normally it's like the house. We either put a S or a F or a D or something you guys don't use. That's a problem, obviously. Like D's, T's, B's, P's, and because German is a bit harder, for example, bad in English would be softer, and the German equivalent is bet. So here we would say t instead of a softer D. We also spell it with T's, but we also have words with D's which we speak as T's. So that's one thing. The other thing is we shorten vowels. So I know that I have that issue. Someone told me, and I'm like, okay, what should I change? And I never got around to that. That was the weirdest thing. This vlog is gonna be so long. So I was in LA with Faster Movement. Steven was there too because I picked him up, and we had a little come together, whatever, meetup before things happening. And there was a guy at the bar, and he started talking and was like, I was from London, whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And he spoke British, and I was just curious which area he's from. So we started talking, and later on he's like, you didn't buy I'm British. And I'll look at him, and he's like, I knew it when you asked me where I'm from in London. And seriously, I actually was just interested which part, and since I know London a bit better. So yeah, and then we started talking about linguistic and stuff, and he pointed out a couple of things because I was asking about it. There are things which we can't pronounce, like V's, because those are F's. In, for example, not always, but we pronounce them differently than you normally would do, and our W's are pronounced like your V's. So Wasser, wer, wenn. Does that sound like the original V you guys say? Because then I might be able to train myself. Wer, wie, wo, was. Wasser. Does that sound like your V? Virgin, wer, virgin, wer, wie, wann, virgin. No, I don't know any other V's. Okay, I'm going to bed now. Bye guys.